Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday. This will be the second and final part of my flux capacitor build that I did last year. The first video is also on my channel. I'll leave a link down below. To be honest, most of it was covered in the first video, but there's a little bit left to do. And you know what? I didn't really take much footage of it once it was finished, but there is a clip of it working, so you know. You will see that. So anyway, enjoy that, and I will see you at the end of the video. Okay, a little bit more on the flux capacitation. As you can see, I've glued all the vertical tubes on now, and I've also hacked off about 10mm from the top of each vertical tube just to give it a little bit more clearance once it's inside the case, etc, etc. So I think what I need to do now is to glue these onto the solenoids. You'll see. Yeah, so basically these go in like that, glued into the little dip, and I think I may put a blob of glue on that bracket on the solenoid as well, just to kind of keep it. It's got to be nice and vertical. So we'll adjust it and then we'll put some tape over it to hold them together. One-handed is not the best idea. Ooh. Okay, so a blob of glue there. Stuff doesn't want to break off. There you go, and a blob of glue there. Come on. That'll do. Okay, so settle in. Very nice. Okay, I'm just going to check it's vertical by getting down to eye level. No, it's not. Now it is. I think I'm going to get our old friend masking tape and pop that on there, keep it vertical, and then there. So obviously I'm viewing it from here, so it looks pretty vertical there, and the tape is holding it in place for the next couple of hours just for the glue to go off. Yeah, that's okay. That's pretty good. So the same with the other two. I do like E6000 because it dries completely clear, you know, and so you won't see it around. It looks like glass has been melted, if anything, and that even looks like liquid, but it's actually glue. So, same thing with this chap. I'm going to try putting the glue in first, and we'll see what we can do. Right, so we want a blob there, and another blob there, and break off, will you? Oh dear, I've literally put too much on there. But it can be cut off, but I think it won't make too much of a big deal because it's not a problem. Alrighty. Okay, put it down, get it vertical, get some tape. Put on top, keep it vertical, and bang. Right now, that's pretty good. Yeah, the glue will dry clear anyway, so it won't look so bad. I just want to get this finished now. It's taken forever. It's good fun though. It's a fun build. Like I say, not an amazing amount of accuracy, but it's you know, for aesthetic purposes, it looks fine. I would have liked a really nice chromy silver for the nuts on these solenoids, but you can't really get chrome silver in a pot. If anything, you could spray it, but it's too small to mask off. So get that one in there, pop it down, level that sucker off, vertical. Oop, tape's too short. No, it's not. That's okay. Vertical. Cool. So we've got 3 solenoids all assembled. The only thing left to do is the brackets, but I need to bend the brackets to fit some of them into the case. And these need to be painted a bit more of a reddy orange. This is just primer. but I do have red paint, so I may slightly mist a bit of red onto it and see what they look like, see if they look a bit orangey. If not, I'll get the acrylics out, give it a paint with the brush, and then seal it with lacquer. Alrighty. Okay, so I got all 3 plugs, and mixing up some crimson acrylic with some yellow. I just discovered that the yellow is so old that I've had to take the lid off the pot and scoop it out. It's coming out like peanut butter, which isn't great, but if you mix it up, it should be good enough. So I'm doing a heck of a lot of mixing there. Good thing about acrylic is it mixes with itself. A bit more crimson in, a few drops, and yeah, luckily this is running at 4 times normal speed, because it is literally like watching paint dry. So hurry up. Brush, where's my brush? Not there, come back. Ah, here we are. Here's old faithful brush. It's my 1/2-inch canvas painting brush. But I've loaded the brush up with some paint, realised it wasn't red enough, put some more crimson in, stirred it up a little bit more, and off we go. So I'm using, for the majority of these plugs, I'm using just 1 brush load of paint and spreading it as far as it will possibly go. It does cover quite well, and the cool thing about acrylic is you know, it's water soluble, doesn't smell, doesn't have horrible fumes, and you can thin it out with water, etc. But I'm leaving it quite thick, and as you can see, it dries in a kind of semi-gloss, kind of silk finish, which does resemble rubber, which the original plugs would be made of. So I'm just having a look around all different angles, making sure I cover the and 1 more dip there, covering all the plugs. And once that's done, just going over it, making sure there's no blobs of paint everywhere, and that kind of looks done. They'll be dry in a couple of hours, so yeah, just to go around and just check the paint isn't blobbing. And thank goodness this is running at 4 times normal speed, isn't it? Yeah, that's about all I can say. Just a little bit more checking and stand it up, painting the bits that you probably wouldn't see anyway, but they're done. Well, it's now the beginning of October, and finally I think this is going to be the last bit of filming for the Flux Capacitor that I've been building for many months, so apologies to the person who's going to end up having this. Again, juggling so much, I haven't had time to do it all, but this is basically the last bit of filming I'm doing. And it's cool because while in the last few months I've been doing regular videos about all sorts of different things, this is my biggest project, really. Biggest in terms of buying things and testing things and cutting things up and making them, putting things together. But we're on the home stretch, so let's get on with it and show you what I've been doing. Okay, right, so here's the box. As you can see, currently there's cling film on top. That was just so I don't get any scratches on the PVC, the Perspex screen. These labels are beginning to sort of peel off. I can't super glue them on because that horrible white fog will come on, so I may have to sort of V6000 them a bit in places just to hold them down. Not sure where I saw you last time, but I fitted the clamps. One is quite loose, you know, it works, but it's a little bit loose. But you can't adjust it anymore, you can't move things around. This one is tight as a tight thing, as you can probably tell from the noise. And look, okay, so what I've done so far, good, you can see that. I've begun to mark out where the Perspex pieces are going. For some reason, this one here, what am I calling them? Solenoids. This one seems to be a little tiny bit further down than that one. So I'm not particularly happy with the symmetry of the triangle when the 3 bits hit, but I've got them as near as damn it. It's only a matter of millimeters. I have not fitted the tube. I can't remember how far I've gone with this, but basically I've told you I've painted the ends orange. I've fitted the yellow plastic tubing in there, and inside the tubing, as you can probably see, is a piece of coat hanger wire which keeps it bent at roughly a 90-degree angle, and they're going to be glued in through the holes there. And I don't even know if I'm going to glue them to the top of the solenoid. They're fine as they are. I may put a drop of glue on the back of the end of this and put it in there, but then again, it's not loose. It's not going to fall to pieces. Anyway, let's take them out for now, and I will carry on telling you about the things that went right and the things that went wrong. Right, well, I'm really happy about how the solenoids came together, except for something I didn't plan for, which was, as you can see, the bottom one has the bracket fitted. Unfortunately, it's not sitting on the box because the box is too tall for the dimensions. You know, it should have been actually more of a square box, but you know, you have to do with what you can. So I don't know if I might actually put a fake piece of grey something for that to sit on, as if it's been, you know, clamped onto there. And these ones don't have the brackets on yet, because the one side of the bracket hits the outer walls, or the inner walls, should I say. So I need to either bend or reprint different brackets that will fit in nicely. These have been glued in last night, but I did put a screw in the back of all of them just to keep them central. So you can see the screws here and the markings I've done on this side. See, according to my calculations, I've done the circles, I've done a measured down and everything. It seems level, seems perfectly level, and the triangle here is a pretty nice triangle considering the length of the box, etc. You'll notice that I had to recalculate. The circle is higher up actually. So yeah, it all seems good, but on the inside it just doesn't seem perfectly right. But there's a blob of E6000 on both of these, and they're screwed into the solenoids to hold them in. So I've started marking out these big black crosses here where the LED light holes are going. The circular holes, as I probably said in a previous video, but I'll carry on, was for a speaker. They are visible in the actual prop, but I don't have a sound system in this, unfortunately. But let's talk lighting, because the lighting has arrived, and here it is. So many thanks to my friend Jos. He's given me a setup with 4 AA batteries and all the LEDs. Now they're in bunches, and there's a little Arduino there. How did we ever get by without Arduinos to solve all the problems? Programmable Arduinos. So yeah, essentially we've got a bunch of greens, a bunch of whites and a bunch of reds, and that's how you tell them apart. Now when I switched it on, they all seem to be flashing at the same time and not sort of travelling like they're supposed to, until I had to ask Jos why that was, and he said, yeah, the red ones go first, then the green, then the white. I'm like, ah, so they're not bunched that way, it's one of each. So let me explain. I'll put the reds go first, then I think the whites, and then the greens. And then if I'll switch these on in a sec. Ooh, tell you what I'll do. I think I'll turn the lights off and see what happens. Right, closing the kitchen blinds, a wee bit darker. Turn the lights off. And it's not much difference, but you'll get a better idea. So there's a little tiny red switch on the end here, and let's go. So we get a red light, and then we get, so you see it is travelling. It's travelling from red to white to green in sequence, as they should do. So I need to get, for example, 1 out of the red bunch, 1 out of the white bunch, and 1 out of the green bunch, and that makes 1 solenoid. Now the solenoids, the one, I don't know what you call it, I can't remember the electrical term, but basically you've got these three lights travelling along in sequence, and they're going to shine through. Do you remember the Perspex pieces? Well, I've stuck black tape on both sides of the Perspex pieces, but not the edges, because the whole point of the black tape is to stop light from escaping. So when you put that in there, you can kind of see it travelling. Can you see like that? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Look at that. Ooh. So, yeah. Now the one thing I haven't done, admittedly, and this is due to fear. Let's put the lights back on. Open up the window. Some light in here. The one thing I haven't done with the Perspex is drill holes for the lights to go in there, the LEDs, because I don't have like a vise and a drill to drill slowly like this, one of these industrial type drills. I've just got a Dremel, and I know that I'm probably going to mess it up big time. If I make a mistake with any one of these, and bear in mind I've got to drill 3 of these, there's 3 holes in 3 of these, that's 9 holes. If I make a mistake with any one and it cracks it, I'm in trouble. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to drill holes in the rear of this box, just big enough to fit an LED. I'll mount the LEDs in with some glue. These will sit flush on the inside, glued down again with E6000 because it's totally clear. And yeah, and that'll be it. I'm not going to risk doom any more than that. I was going to paint these, but I did have some leftover, this is from Offworld actually, leftover black insulation tape, 2-inch stuff that I'd used for the Offworld set. And it's done a really nice job, in fact. If it ever comes off, I will just insist, you know, probably just get them painted. But so far, once trimmed off with a scalpel, they've gone really nice. And these were not so much a functional part of the actual movie prop to look like it was built. These were basically a sort of optical illusion, because they couldn't get lights into the glass tubes inside the solenoids. Because these, I think the glass tubes were actually like valves, so they were sort of vacuum sealed. So you can't really fit lights in there and get them to travel down the thing. So what they did, in order so you wouldn't notice it very well, they put these in, light it from behind, and when the light travels down, it doesn't escape from the side. It looks like it's going down the tube, which is the general idea. Now I've got to get my Dremel out now, drill the holes that I started marking out, glue these in place, arrange all this on the back, and that, Marty McFly, is that.
Quick, stop, Marty!
Well, hope you enjoyed that. No idea what's coming up next week, if at all. I'll have to think of something. And yeah, if you can do the usual, like and subscribe, press the bell, the button, whatever the things that you do, and feel free to leave a comment, questions or suggestions, and I will see you next week for more Terry on Tuesday. Take care now. Bye bye then.